More angst. We just can't escape it so easily, can we? Nope, we cannot. If you saw the previous video, which you should totally check out if you didn't, then you know some reasons why readers love angst. Now, it's time for the author's side of this. Fortunately, as an avid reader and writer myself, I can at least speak for some angst lovers on both sides. Let's get started on this. Reason number 1, excitement. For me especially, I'm used to having family as alpha readers. On one hand, I love that. On the other hand, this family tends to have very short attention spans. So in the back of my mind, I'm constantly thinking, don't bore them, don't bore them. My favorite way to ensure that this story isn't boring is to include angst. Even more than action, I think that excitement is linked to angst. Consider this with me for a moment. Cue magical flashback sounds. How many of you have seen action films when there are explosions and fight scenes and people getting punched every 2 seconds? Now, and I'm sure this is a smaller number, how many of you have been bored by that? I'm in that group. I can actually watch the most intense scenes like that, but I will get bored if that's all. This is because the focus is on constantly causing shock so much that I just become numb. At this point, I don't care who wins the fight. I don't know anybody. I have a vague idea that I'm supposed to root for the character on the left, but I genuinely couldn't care less who walks away from this. Contrarily, an angsty scene is only because you care. Instead of it just being an endless fight, there are emotional stakes involved. Now, we know the villain's going to destroy the world, and they're the ones winning. This is still a fight scene, but it's angsty. It also leads into reason number 2, emotional attachment. Angst, when done right, almost requires emotional attachment. Otherwise, you have the worst thing. Angst for only the readers. If the characters are the only ones experiencing angst, that means readers don't care about the stakes. Done right, angst gets readers invested. These characters are lovable, they're fun, they're on the verge of being ripped to shreds. Maybe the stakes don't have to be that high. Angsty emotional attachment could also be stuff like watching a character grow into a better person, only to still lose everyone they cared about and everything they've worked for. Like this, there's still plenty of angst, but there are levels of it. Picture a tall building. Do you want level 1 angst or level 49? For me, I'd probably go with 49, but I also like to get worked up to that sometimes. And reason number 3, because why not have 3 as a magical number again? I like to write angst because of the challenge. Huh? You ask me? Well, let me explain. It's like what I said earlier about the fight scenes. Action sequences, in theory, are easy. So are happy scenes. Of course, everyone's got their own strengths in terms of what types of scenes are more challenging, but generally speaking, it doesn't take too much effort to show that someone got into a fight, or that someone's happy in this moment. Just have them get kicked or show them smiling. Boom, done. Now, proper angst is more difficult. Like with reason 2, even that can be done improperly. The issue with being a writer is that we don't have a rule book to follow. We just have to guess and go off our instincts. Something I personally think helps is imagining yourself as the reader. If you're reading this as someone who is not reading their own book, that's an important detail. Do you feel anything? If so, then good. If not, maybe go back to the drawing board. But even as tricky as this can be, it's why I love it. Truly angst-filled scenes require work because they spent chapters building up to them. You don't just have the friends break up. You show them start off hesitant, grow to love each other, then tear them away from each other. The characters are crying and so are the readers. Except that one. You know who you are. Even still, it just feels so rewarding to me when this happens. It's like the fruit of your labor. So those are the reasons I have anyway for loving to write angst. It makes the story more exciting, it leads to strong emotional attachment, and it's a challenge. I'd like to think that I get better at practice. If you made it this far, I hope you'll like and subscribe for more. Comment too, because those are fun. Also, I've got a book planned for next May that's going to have plenty of angst. Oh, so very much. I can't wait to get it out there and emotionally entertain all of you. But until then, see you next time.